It is late summer. Quarantined from the rest of the world, I stood amongst the grass in an orchard, feeling the breeze of mid-July. I gazed upon an apple tree, and suddenly, an apple falls to the ground. Though an apple might not seem like much to the average person, I became fascinated with this piece of fruit, perhaps the most important piece of fruit in history. Following this trajectory, I went on to create the revolutionary modern-day laws of physics that are still being taught today. Now, if it isn't obvious by now, I was never actually the subject of the story. This story belongs to Isaac Newton and the discovery of gravity. I, however, was in Vietnam last summer picking lychees. The beauty of this discovery from Newton wasn't only gravity, but it was the fact that Newton had not been overloading his brain to find causation or solution. He wasn't conducting an experiment, nor was he researching. He simply was just bored. Being a part of Gen Z, I've always heard and seen how devices have impacted my generation. I was born during the time the first iPhone came out, so I've always been surrounded by technology. But just like any other addictive substance, I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware of its impact on people until it had impacted me. In fall of 2023, I went through severe depression. So I began to fall behind in all my classes. This is what my room looked like. Imagine living in a space where you couldn't see your floor. You spilled food all over the floor, just letting it sit there. You don't care about yourself. Your clothes unfolded, going to school, putting a smile on your face to let people know that, hey, I'm okay. But when you go home, you see yourself in that room. The moment I typed in my passcode and went onto social media, everything went quiet. It was like a drug. All my thoughts and worries went away in just a scroll. What I traded for the little moments of comfort was my time to grow as a person, my time to be bored. Digital overload was my comfort. It felt safe. But during this time, I began to show signs and symptoms of what the DSM-5 qualifies as severe addiction. Now think about your screen time. Can you relate to any one of these? And after months of phone use, I started to put the dots together. My phone may have provided me comfort in the moment and a sense of pleasure to distract myself from my depression, but in the end, it was taking a toll on everything. I finally went on a detox, bringing my 13 hours to about 2 to 4 hours a day. But how did I bring 13 hours to just 1 to 2 hours a day? How do you do that? Well, here's some things I did. First, I started volunteering. The first volunteer opportunity I had was at Stanford. I started volunteering at the surgical tower where I had surgery about 4 years ago. I remember one particular morning. It was 6 in the morning. I was bored. I was on my phone scrolling through Instagram, trying to get through the hours. But then I saw this little boy. He was running through the hospital hallways with such enthusiasm. His mom, on the other hand, she looked upset. And I remember thinking, that kid reminds me of myself. I remember when I was in surgery, I ran through the hallways of the hospital, ignoring what was happening, unaware that I was about to go through a surgery. But my mom, the strongest woman ever, kept her patience, even though you could see all over her face that she was scared for me. I went up to the kid and walked him to his room. The moment I started talking to him, I started asking him his favorite cartoons, his favorite books. And that was better than going on my phone. Getting to know this little boy for just even 5 minutes was better than an hour scroll on my phone. Next, I joined marching band. One distinct memory was my first ever performance. The moment I got off stage, I got runner's high. Everything went slow. The smile on everyone's faces, on my section leaders' faces, my friends' faces, my band director's faces, they were all so excited. The feeling of seeing everyone you know and love just smiling was better than ever going on my phone and just seeing videos of people smiling, but seeing in real life was better. Lastly, I started a mental health club in my school to teach my peers about mental health and self-care. But I remember one day during ad room, 20 people showed up to my meeting. And I had them do a self-reflection sheet, sitting there and just observing people that I see all over social media, the way they betray themselves to be so happy, confident, and extroverted. But when they handed the sheets back to me, I saw their stories. They weren't what they pictured on social media, and they were comfortable to share it, they were comfortable enough to share it with me, even though I was almost a complete stranger to them. That was better than going on my phone. But what do I think of my phone? Now, being a part of clubs, social media is beneficial. It has some pros and cons. But at the end of the day, my phone is a piece of plastic. If I had my last day on Earth and I was just scrolling, what a dreadful way to live my last day. If we as humans start off with rocks, sticks, and people, why can't we enjoy your life without the overstimulation? There's more than just a digital world. There's people out there.